Hello, YouTube family. Hope you guys are having a great end to your week. Hope you have an even better weekend. I just wanted to come to you with my second YouTube video. This is going to be the start of my first series, which is starting your freelance career. And this specific video is geared specifically towards students. Now, this could be for high school students, college students, primarily college students though. But I just wanted to start with this video. To give you a little bit of a background, I started my freelance career when I was actually in like middle school, high school area, like around when I was like between 13 and 15 years old. Usually like for me, that started off by drawing a Dragon Ball Z character on someone's notebook. And then once that happened, everybody was like, oh, I'll give you a couple bucks to draw, you know, this Dragon Ball Z character or this Pokemon, Digimon, whatever. And so that's how I started my freelance career. And yes, that is even the start of a freelance career, in my opinion. But going into like high school era, I actually would do branding work. I did a couple of, well, of course, I did business cards, things like that for fellow students. I even was hired by my university, or not my university, my high school. Sorry, slip of the tongue. My high school to create these sweatshirts for the student body. Unfortunately, the job fell through, and they still owe me money on that, but I'm not going to collect because, you know, what's the point? It's been that long. But for me, like, probably my biggest start to my freelance career happened when I was in college. And so that's the main reason why I wanted to do this. I wanted to help people because, honestly, unless you start early, you know, freelance to me helped me out. And so I know that for students specifically, if they do freelance, it will help them out, not just like get extra money for like beer or software, movies, whatever. It will help you by building up your portfolio and building up skills that you would not get in your regular university system. So I'm going to start with my first biggest tip, which is when you're a student, do pro bono work. Trust me on that. It's one of the best things that you can do. For me, I started doing pro bono work. For instance, there was a game on my campus that we used to play called Humans vs. Zombies. Some of you may have heard of it, some of you probably haven't. But this was a game that we played. And so I created I think it was my second game I created all of the propaganda posters. I printed them myself. I paid for everything myself. And I just plastered it all over the campus. And the game grew like 200%. I think the first game I played, it was like less than 100 people. The second game was over 200 people. And by the third game, I think it was probably closer to 400 to 500 people. And that was just from me helping out with posters and everything. One day someone was like, hey, why don't you go to the Humans vs. Zombies website and post these posters? Maybe you can get some like free work, get some extra work or something like that. Maybe you can get some exposure. I was like, oh, that's a good idea. So I did that, and within a few days, I was actually contacted by one of the co-founders of the game. And they're like, hey, love your posters. We were wondering if you might be interested in doing like a trade of service. I can help you build a website. If you can maybe create some illustrations for us for our website or like other posters for people to use and everything like that. I was like, sure. And so that one act of like doing pro bono work for my university game led to me working with the actual organization who created the game. Now, that goes even further because, that was mainly free work. I mean, I got a trade of service where I got my first free website. But then the same guys who created Humans vs. Zombies also created a game that I think almost everybody who's watching has heard of, which is Cards Against Humanity. And so for about 2 years, roughly, I was their go-to person for illustration. I was kind of their official illustrator, but they didn't really use illustration like most people do. They used it in the form of like promotional emails, and they have even like one website I think is still up, which is Cards Against Humanity Labs, Cards Against Humanity Labs or something like that. I can't remember, but I created stuff for them for about 2 years and everything like that, and that led to even more projects. So that's, if you look back, free posters for a university game led to me working with the actual game founders, which then led me to work on one of the most popular drinking games ever. So just like a little bit of a tip is, you know, don't focus on making money when you start off, especially like if you're in college. I know that's hard. I know we all want the extra money. That's one of the main reasons why we start doing freelance is for extra money. But the trade-offs are so much better when you don't focus just on that. So that's the first tip. The second tip is, you know, specifically this is geared towards those students who are about to graduate from college. I know you guys are stressed out. I get college students contact me regularly, you know, about tips and tricks. And for the most part, all of them are seniors who are going through their final semester, which is their biggest semester. Now, ideally, let's say if you're a freshman watching this video, or a sophomore or a junior, reach out sooner. I can help you so much more when you guys reach out sooner. And all these other designers and illustrators and whatever, they can help you if you reach out sooner. Don't be afraid. Don't think because you're just a freshman in college does not mean that you cannot talk to us. We want to help you. I know a few people who they don't really like to help out students, but for most of my friends who are illustrators and designers, they love to help people out. You know, we were helped out when we were in your shoes, and so we like to return the favor. We like to pay it forward. But for those seniors who are going through portfolio, I'm going to give you like the best piece of advice I can give you. Skip spring break. Or rather than just skip it, use that 1 week time to focus on your senior portfolio. Now, I don't know how most universities work. My university, we had a senior portfolio. That was like our end goal for our entire college career. So what I did was I actually skipped my spring break. I got permission from my university, excuse me, to go and work in the computer lab during the spring break. And, you know, some faculty didn't like that. Others were like, why are you skipping your spring break? This is your last spring break, your last hurrah before you graduate. And I was like, yeah, but I want to focus on my work. I want to get things done so then I am not scrambling at the last minute like a lot of people normally are. And so I worked in the computer lab with some of my friends. Some of them probably are even going to watch this video. But we worked in the computer lab from like 8 a.m. to like midnight. I think there was even a couple of nights where we were there till like 2 a.m. just like working away the whole time, putting movies up on the big projector screen while we're working and everything like that. But the important thing was, at the end of spring break when everybody came back, I was sitting there relaxing while everybody else was creating. They're like, why is he just singing? Why isn't he working? And the professor, I was proud of this professor for saying, he's like, he's done. Like, he spent his time wisely and finished while everybody else was getting drunk and partying in Cancun or wherever it is that they went. So focus on doing that, because then you have sometimes like, 2 months, 3 months of extra time before you graduate. This is very important for you. You should be taking this time and you should be using it wisely, because I'm going to tell you this right now. The portfolios that you're putting out in college, the ones that you're so excited about and your professors are like, this is what you need to get a job, are not going to be all you need. It's not going to land you a job. It might land you a job at Kinko's, but it's not going to get you a job where you want to go. There's so many things that you should do in that extra little bit of time that you create for yourself that will help you out tremendously. So like, I know, at least from my university, they wanted students to be well-rounded in so many different skill sets. So my suggestion for you, don't just do that. You know, when you look at job boards right now or anything like that, you see UX designers are looking for UX designers. They're not looking for branding designers. They're not looking for illustrators. They're not looking for animations. They're looking for UI UX. Branding designers are the same thing. They're looking for branding. They might be looking for illustration, but they're not looking for web design. Web design's a little plus, but it's not going to guarantee you the job. So focus on what you want to do. If you want to do branding, create a bunch of logos. I'm going to give a video in the future where I actually am going to give you an exercise that you guys can do that's super easy to come up with ideas, because I know ideas are hard. But create a bunch of logos. You know, if you want to do illustration, create a bunch of illustrations. If you want to do websites, create a bunch of websites. It's the best thing to do, because if you have 50% more branding, 50% more website, 50% more illustrations in your portfolio, it shows them that is what you're serious about, shows them that's what you're passionate about, and you'll be so far ahead of the rest. If, for instance, let's say, I'm just going to choose one random university, let's say RISD, right? If RISD graduates 100 designers, all with similar portfolios. By the way, disclaimer, I don't know how RISD's portfolio system works or how their school system works, but this is just an example. Let's say they graduate 100 designers. If all of them have the similar type of portfolio and they all go to a job at, you know, some big agency or something like that, the art directors and creative directors are going to just throw those portfolios out because they're the same thing over and over again. 50 logos, 5 websites, you know, 20 illustrations, all the same. They're all even the same projects possibly. You know, they're not going to care about that. They're going to look for the people who, let's say if it's a branding agency, they're going to look for the people with 100 logos or even just 20 logo stories, like branding stories that go above and beyond just like a simple logo. They're going to look at those people more than the other people. They don't care what you got in school. They don't care what your grades are. They don't care about a GPA. That is worthless in the design community. What they care about is they care about, you know, your spunk, your chutzpah. You know, they care about that type of stuff. They care about how much you put in and how passionate you are about your craft and everything. So that's definitely one of my biggest things right there. Technically, that's, I think, 2 points rolled into one, but you need to diversify your work. All right. One last point I'm going to do. This was a comment that someone had asked me in the comments in my first video, which definitely, if you guys haven't checked it out, please check it out. Someone asked me, they were like, well, should I diversify styles? Like, for instance, this was geared towards illustration, but I'm going to actually wrap it around to illustration, branding, and even web design. So they asked me, they were like, should I be focusing on finding one specific style, or should I be having a bunch of different styles? Don't stick to one style. It's going to pigeonhole you. It's going to make it more difficult for you to find a job. So my suggestion is actually going to be this. My suggestion, create a multitude of different styles. For illustration, you should have maybe 3 to 5 different styles. It's okay if they're not the best, but, you know, just try. All right. For branding, don't have all word marks. I mean, this should be probably obvious to you, but have it split up. Have like, try and do hand lettering. Do like so many hand lettering. Do so many logo types. Do so many just like simple marks. Do combinations of them. And of course, for branding, go in and like delve a little bit deeper. But for websites, don't just do the same websites over and over again. So many agencies even have this problem where all of their websites look exactly the same. So I want you to do this instead. I want you to, for like websites specifically, do some marketing pages, do some dashboards, even do elements for websites. You don't even have to do a full website. You could do a landing page. You could do a modal. You could do a contact list, something like that, and that will help you out. You know, I want to help not just the illustrators. I'm personally more of an illustrator, but I'm also a designer. I've worked in branding. I've worked in web design. I've worked now my official day job is doing pretty much all illustration work. I want to help you guys out as much as I can because that's what the whole purpose of these videos are. So hopefully, like, these little bits of tips have helped you. I've gone over probably about 3 or 4 different tips, but hopefully these help you out. So this is going to be it for this video, but I'm going to come back. Please leave comments below and just let me know if you have any more questions. I'm going to do a few more videos in this student edition series, but I'm also going to do other videos for like the professional side. It doesn't matter. If you're a student, leave comments. If you're a professional, leave comments. I would love to hear like what you would like to hear from me. I would love to hear like what you think would make like a good video to help you or help out the community. So by all means, please leave a comment. I hope you guys like this video. Subscribe, all that fun jazz. I hope you guys have an amazing weekend and hope that you stay creative and stay inspired. All right, guys. See you later. Bye.